basketball player, you need to have a few moves in your arsenal. Now, what's interesting is you don't need to have super complex moves. Sometimes the simplest moves are the most effective. So today I'm gonna give you 3 simple moves that when you kind of put them into your game, you're gonna be able to beat your defender really easily. So although they look kind of simple, if you can get the timing down, it's gonna be big for you. So the very first one we're gonna talk about is the rocker step. Now the rocker step's really a simple concept, and it's basically just the idea of getting a jab step forward, keeping your back leg loaded, and then exploding off of it. So you can pretend like if there's a defender in front of me, let's say I set the ball down right here. As I catch, if I give just a little bit of a jab just like this, the defender is probably going to scoot back, correct? They have to react to that jab step. So as I jab in, if the defender comes back, now with the rocker step, the idea is I'm going to rock onto my back leg. So I'm jabbing, rocking onto my back leg, and keeping it loaded at the same time. I don't want to get it straight, I want to keep it loaded. So as I jab and I load, I'm going to freeze here for a second. And most of the time, when I come here and I freeze for just a moment, the defender is going to close that space. As they're closing that space, that's the time I launch off that back foot and spring by them. Again, the key here is all kind of about that first jab step. I want to move them, come back, and then as soon as they start coming forward and I'm watching their body, as soon as they start coming forward, that's when I'm going to spring off my back foot and explode by them. Right? And with the rocker step, you can do it with either foot, no matter which one I pivot on. If I come with my left, I'm going to rock in, back leg loaded, spring off. Again, key is keeping that back leg loaded. If you can keep that like a spring, compress, ready, explode, you can blow right by them every time. All right, so the next move that we've got is the high rip. Now the high rip's great because number one, it's gonna clear space, so it's gonna get your defender to come off you a little bit. And number two, it's a good kind of hesitation move before you attack off of it. You got a bunch of different options out of it once you do it. So the high rip generally comes out of some sort of pivoting situation, and I like a reverse pivot. So we're pretending like we're running our offense, maybe somebody's got the ball up there, I'm cutting up, maybe I'm getting a screen and I'm catching the ball, coming this direction. Now with a high rip, I'm going to reverse pivot. So I'm gonna be on my outside foot right here, following my behind around. And as I do, normally with the reverse pivot, you're bringing the ball either across your chest or you're swiping low, right? For the high rip, all we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna put the ball higher up by my forehead and come through and clear a rip just like this. So as I come through, I'm gonna rip high, and then from here, I'm gonna kind of make a read depending on how the defender reacts. What I like about this is as I come through, a lot of times if I got pressure here and somebody's like right up on my hip, if I come through like this with my elbow, what are they probably gonna do? They're gonna slide out of the way, right? Because nobody wants to catch an elbow in the nose. So as I come through, I'm not looking to hit somebody like this, right? I'm not trying to be cheap or dirty. I'm just trying to do a high rip, bring the ball through. Naturally, my elbow's gonna clear some space. They're gonna drop off, and then from here, we got our options. One of my all-time favorites, and some of the guys like Damian Lillard uses a lot, is he comes through, he high rips, brings it into one hand, so he comes through, high rips one hand, and then plants on the outside, and then crosses back over middle. So this is a great read. I can rip through. If I've got it on the rip, if they're still up high, I can put the ball down and go by them. If I don't, right, if I come through and they haven't given it to me, I can plant hard, slide them this direction, and then cross over middle to get that space. Again, the idea is that high rip's gonna raise them out of their stance and then slide them one direction. If you can do that, you're gonna clear a lot of space and it's gonna make it a lot easier on you. All right, so the next move I have for you is the hatchet chop. Now the hatchet chop's not really necessarily a move with something that you do with the ball, but instead it's something that you do with your offhand. So it's basically the idea is as I'm driving and I'm getting through, a lot of times a defender's gonna put their hand right on your hip right here, right? Or a forearm, and they're gonna try to push you out of your direct attack line. Now, anytime you're attacking the basket, the straighter of a line you can go, the faster and more efficient it's gonna be. So a hatchet chop is basically just the idea that with your off arm, as I'm coming through and they've got a hand or a forearm on my hip right here, I'm using my off arm to chop that hand off and then explode past them. What happens a lot of times that you notice is when somebody's got their hand and they're pushing on you hard, they're really leaning on you, if you can slap that hand off, open your hips a little bit, they're gonna lose their balance and it's gonna be really easy to go by them. So as you come through, not only can you just chop their hand off, right? But if you come through and you open your hips just like that, so it's almost like a hip switch. As I come through, boom, if I can open my hips and chop their hand at the same time, they're gonna fall forward and it's gonna allow me to go right by them. Right, this is a great move if you've got an over-aggressive defender, somebody who's always fouling you, trying to steal the basketball, right? So this little hatchet chop works best if it's kind of subtle, right? I don't wanna like cock it up here with a fist and like give them a big hammer down, right? Because refs are gonna call me for a foul. It looks best if it can just be kind of natural. So I'm driving and it just looks like a normal run as I'm going with the basketball, right? Knock that hand down, open up the hips if you can, and you're gonna get a nice lane to the basket out of it. All right, if this video helped you out, go ahead and hit that like button, then into the comment section down below and let me know what sort of video you want to see next. This is a channel for the people, by the people, and I run pretty much everything off a request, so leave it down below and hopefully we'll get to it. And if you're new to Shop Mechanics, you're gonna wanna do two things. Number one, hit that subscription button down below because we put out videos every week and they're all gonna get you better, I guarantee it. And the second thing you're gonna wanna do is click the button above or the link in the description, get a free copy of my #1 scoring workout. This is a scoring workout that's gonna change the way you think about your training. It'll probably increase your scoring average the very first time you use it. That's how powerful it is. So I highly recommend you check that out. Again, I'm Coach Colin Castell with Shop Mechanics Basketball. Thanks for watching, and until next time, splash on.